Hello guys, so today I'll be covering on Emerald of Katong, and also I'll be doing an analysis on Tembusu Grand as well as Haig, which is both nearby plots to Emerald of Katong. Then after that, if you find my analysis useful and you want to join me for the preview that's coming up for Emerald of Katong, feel free to contact me via my number through WhatsApp. There's the link below. Okay, so for Emerald of Katong, we are looking at 25th October as the preview date, which will start, and then booking date will be on 9th of November, which falls on a Saturday. So if you guys want to go for a VIP preview, you can scan the QR code or you can WhatsApp me at 84849302. I'll be more than happy to do an analysis for you based on your numbers and see how you can best benefit from this purchase for Emerald of Katong. Okay, so right now this is the actual site area, right, for Tembusu Grand, Haig, and Emerald of Katong. So the site plan for Emerald of Katong, I had to flip it 360 lah. So you just try to orientate yourself. This is along the Jalan Tembusu area. So I just zoom in a little bit. You can see basically this one is Tembusu Grand, then this one is Haig. Haig, right, inside there's this smaller development. It's not inside lah, but it just happened to be part of that square. Then over here we have Emerald of Katong. So the unique thing about Emerald of Katong, here we have the nursing home, and here they have the neighborhood park. So I think most people, they never account for the calculation, right, that the developer has to take up, because there's additional cost which the developer has to incur when developing this neighborhood park. But at the same time, later you will see actually the developer play very smart, because they have to develop this particular park, right. They have a premium luxury block that is facing towards the park side. So we will dive deeper into that later on. But I think here main thing is I just want you to orientate yourself around the entire Tembusu area as well as the facings, so you know what kind of analysis we'll be going through later on. Okay, so between the three developments, we want to see if they all have similar aspects, because Haig, if you look at the past transactions, right, actually a lot of the owners made a lot of profits, and we want to see what made Haig so profitable, and then we will see if Tembusu Grand or Emerald of Katong is able to replicate that. So from there we will compare among the three developments. If of course Tembusu Grand is better than Haig in certain things, then of course it will be even more profitable. Then if Emerald of Katong is even better than Tembusu Grand, then it will be even more profitable. So this is how I will do my analysis. We start off here with Haig. So Haig over here, you can see TOP in 2004. So I think the main thing about Haig is that it is freehold, right? So that's why it's still holding its value even till today. The land size, we are looking at about 19,000 square meters. So it's really quite big, and the total number of units is only 360. So in terms of the density in the development, it's definitely quite a good size, and you won't feel like a lot of people staying there. And over here we have majority Singaporeans, 75% Singaporean, and then the purchaser's address, a good 74% comes from private property address, so their previous address lah. Yeah, so you can see minority is HDB upgraders. Okay, so now for Tembusu Grand, this one based on paper, it can be up to 2028 lah, but I think we are expecting around 2026 timing based on the construction status. Alright, so this is a 99 year. So the land size also around 19,000 square meters. Definitely, in terms of the land size, is similar to Haig, but of course in terms of the unit density, this is in the 600 plus range lah. Haig is still in the 300 plus. Right. Nationality, 88% Singaporeans. So you can see actually here is a very strong local demand area. So definitely if you are buying even for investment or own stay, it will be easy to offload the unit in the future because of the local demand. And then we have 68% from private properties, and then 31% from HD upgraders previously. Alright, so this one is for Emerald of Katong one. We can see it's also slightly bigger, 20,000 square meters. So it's about 1,000 square meter bigger than Haig and Tembusu Grand. And then the site coverage, this one refers to the building itself. We are looking about 30%, so means the greenery, the landscaping, all this is about 70%. Then we are looking at a total of 6 blocks, and we have 846 units. Okay, so how would I rank based on from what I see on the site area and the density of the development, right? So I think of course Haig will win because it's definitely one of the least dense developments out here. But I think the landscaping, right, is gonna lose out to even Tembusu Grand or Emerald of Katong over here. Alright, because I mean of course it's older design lah, and at the same time when you see so now, right, if you compare between Emerald of Katong and Tembusu Grand, the main thing is really this multi-story car park over here for Tembusu Grand. I think this is the main part that kind of lose out for Tembusu Grand, because I know definitely their facilities will be quite well done, their landscaping also will be quite solid, but it's just that I think overall as a feel for the entire development, when you have a multi-story car park for so-called luxury area D15 I think you have some units on this stack, all this, you'll be facing towards the car park. Not as ideal. Then as a result, right, because you see if your entire landscaping is suddenly got one extra building pop up here, it just doesn't feel as big. Whereas if you look at Emerald of Katong over here, right, because they have the basement car park which is below, then one straight line of facilities, the landscaping definitely I think is a bigger draw as compared to Tembusu Grand because of the car park alone. There is more continuity and flow. And one more thing I want you to take note is that Of course, there is the neighborhood park over here, which I think only this block 59 will enjoy. Other than that, this one is the nursing home lah. So I think this one will help you orientate the area itself. So if you ask me based on rankings, just comparing between Emerald of Katong and Tembusu Grand, personally, I will go with Emerald of Katong if you are okay with a development of 800 plus units. If you are someone that feels like, oh, you don't want such a mega development, right? You want something in between, then I think Tembusu Grand will be a better fit for you. Yeah, but just based on the site plan itself, I would say Emerald of Katong ranks number 1 for me here, and then Tembusu Grand will be the second one in this area. Okay, so due to limited time, right, I'll be only covering the 3 bedrooms layout for Emerald of Katong. If you want to find out a little bit more on maybe the 1 bedder, 2 bedder, 4 bedder, or 5 bedders, right, feel free to let me know. Then I can prepare something similar to this, but it will be more personalized for your individual needs. Emerald of Katong 3 bedders, we have a total of 6 different layouts. Okay, so now we look at the 883 square feet one. There's only one stack 25. You'll be facing towards the end plot of land that is already zone residential at the Jalan Tembusu area. So I think layout overall is quite solid, quite standard also. Now we look at the 904 square feet one. So this one is slightly bigger, about 20 square feet bigger. So the only main difference between the two layouts, if you compare side by side, is actually this area only. So to be honest, unless you are very particular about the facing, just go for 883 because in terms of quantum, it will be cheaper. Right, but of course, if you are particular about facing that, that's another different story. Okay, so when we look over here for this 904 square feet one, definitely there's more choices in terms of stacks and facing. We got stack 16 facing outside, this one pool facing stack 10, stack 7, this one will be facing towards Tembusu Grand that side already, alright, and then stack 41. Okay, so now we look at the 969 square feet one. I think this layout is really very good because I think I've seen the ones that Lentong mentioned, the 3 bedrooms, right? They did a very weird part so instead of the storeroom, they did a toilet there. Maybe some people say that they prefer the toilet there because they can wash their feet there when the guests come and all that. But I just feel it's very awkward I think also in terms of feng shui, might not be the best. A storeroom might be still better, So overall, this one, I like that they have a study over here. And if you are a family looking to own stay, definitely this is one of the better layouts really because it also has the third toilet and a yard for the dry so you don't have to dry in the balcony. But overall, the whole layout is going to be quite similar. Then for this 969 square feet one, right, we have 2 choices. One is towards the pool side and the other one towards the Tembusu Grand that side. Now we look at the 990 square feet one. So layout wise, going to be quite similar. Also one storeroom at the entrance. Kitchen, there is a yard and the third toilet, and they have this study So this one really very similar layout to the 969 one. You can convert study into a partition, then you for your helper's room or additional storage. Yep, then for this 990 square feet one, you have 2 stacks stack 2 and stack 36. So these both are facing towards Tembusu Grand that side. Alright, so what's the difference between the 969 square feet and the 990 square feet layouts? The main difference really lies in the placement of the storeroom. This one also is, the storeroom sizes are slightly different between the two. And the second part is actually the living room area. Not sure if you can see, basically you see this wall here? It's extended up into the balcony area here. You can see? Yeah, it's extended up into the balcony area over here. And the wall here is shorter Whereas you see for this layout, right, there is a slightly bigger part of the wall and the balcony is not covered at all. Yeah, it will be a full unblocked view Whereas this one, there is some blockage over here. So the living room for 90 square feet one will be slightly bigger because they just have a longer living room area. So the rectangle is longer. But in terms of the width, it will be quite similar. Yeah, so that's the main difference. And if you ask me personally, I will go for the 990 square feet one if budget is not a problem because the premium you'll be only looking at about 20 square feet. So for 20 square feet, right, I think the gap is not going to be quite big. It'll be better to just go for something bigger so that in the future, when you want to sell the property or for your own stay, actually the area is slightly longer, you'll feel more comfortable. Alright, so this is the final 2 layouts for the 3 bedrooms at Emerald of Katong. Over here we have the 990 square feet one. So this will be the show flat unit, alright? And you can see the developer already say the non-strata area, which is the AC ledge, is 54 square feet. So actually if you sum it up together, right, this actually is a 1044 square feet unit. So I think this will be a good gauge if you want to compare to, let's say, Tembusu Grand or the other projects that is pre-harmonization. Because if you are using 1044 square feet, your PSF calculation will be slightly lower already because you are no longer using the 990 as a gauge. So over here, I think the layout is quite similar to the other 990 square feet layout also. This study is really nice addition. So I think the main difference will be in terms of facing. So this one will be stack 21, which is facing towards the other residential block. Then here is facing the pool side. Okay, so now we look at the 1023 square feet 1023 square feet. So here the layout is slightly different. You can see they make like a box shape before the entrance of the living room. So the kitchen size is also quite similar. They have a yard here, they have a WC, and then the dining area is slightly bigger. You can see you compare to the 9901, right, it's not one line with the living room wall. It is actually slightly deeper. So you got this extra space that is gained when you pay the additional 33 square feet. Then on top of that, I think this layout is slightly better because they have the store over here, right beside the dining room area. So from what I see, the wall looks quite thin, so most likely this one also can hack lah. So if you want to do a bigger dining area, or you want to keep it for maybe a help, I don't think it can helper's room lah. Probably the study here still can because it's long enough. Yeah, this one maybe you can hack away to have a bigger living room space. Yeah, you can push the dining room here, a dining table here, then you just have a bigger space overall. So for this 1023 square feet one, right, this one will be pool facing, then this one is facing the upcoming residential plot lah. Okay, so now that we've already seen the Emerald of Katong 3-bedroom layouts, right, what we want to do is compare to the nearest competitor that is also a new launch, Tembusu Grand. So this particular Tembusu Grand, right, they only have 2 3-bedroom layouts. Alright, so you can see here, this is the 990 square feet for Tembusu Grand. Their kitchen over here, I think it's going to be similar size, but they don't have the third WC, and also they don't have a yard. So I think this is a slight disadvantage because I think people might need that for their clothes, all these, or putting their cleaning equipment, like a storage area lah. But instead they opt for a dry kitchen area. So I think this one really depends on individual. But I would say if you have a maid or this, you will prefer having a third WC so that for all the washing or the toilet, they have their own personal one, separate from your own family lah. Then I think other than that, in terms of layout, really quite similar. The only thing I don't like about this 990 square feet one is because they have this additional space. This dead space, I would say, is more for the support for the entire building itself. You see, if you compare to the other Emerald of Katong one, right, they don't really have the dead space on it. You see, for this one have dead space, this one also don't have dead space. These two also don't have dead space. Yeah, I think basically because of the new harmonization ruling, right, the developer really must make a lot of the space as usable as possible. So as a result, you don't really have this dead space. So why this dead space is a bit not so ideal because you have this additional space over here that's wasted and this small part yeah. But it's not going to be very significant in terms of the size itself. Yeah, but that's something to take note of. Right, so they have for this 900 square feet, they have 4 stacks. So you see, these two is facing towards the also upcoming residential plot land. Then the other two is facing towards Emerald of Katong. Then this is the multi-story car park over here. Okay, so this is the second type of layout at Tembusu Grand. It's the 1173 square feet. So I think this layout is really going to be quite awesome. They have the study over here, and then they have a proper household shelter, bomb shelter, and then they have a yard and WC. So here they have the wet kitchen area, and then they have the dry kitchen option here. I think this one is really up to you if you want to expand your living room, dining room space, or you want to keep it as a dry kitchen area. Yeah, I think these are the main differences for the different types of layouts at Tembusu Grand. So over here you can see this one is facing towards the residential plot, facing towards the car park, inner pool side, swimming pool. This one facing, these two facing towards Emerald of Katong already. Yeah. So I think partially why the developer also choose to put the car park here is kind of like to block off Haig because Haig is also a high-rise development. But to be honest, I don't think it's the best way to do it. Maybe they have cost constraints or they couldn't get the building approval for the basement car park. This one we really won't know. Yeah, but overall the units here, later I will share deeper on how the units actually sold for the Tembusu Grand launch day. So this will help to frame your mind for the Emerald of Katong launch day as well. Okay, so right now why I'm styling Tembusu Grand's 3-bedroom layouts and also Emerald of Katong's 3-bedroom layouts, right, is that I want to find that sweet spot that Tembusu Grand didn't manage to fill, but Emerald of Katong possibly can fill. So over here I've identified, right, let's say we take this 990 square feet Emerald of Katong unit, right, you see it will total up as a 1044 square feet unit. But then you see at Tembusu Grand, they only have something 990 square feet and then suddenly jump to 1173. They didn't experiment with the sizes in the 1000 square feet range. So I think this will be a very good in-between product. And it's something that I'm quite sure families would need. Okay, you see here, right, 1044 square feet, right, they are able to fit in a third toilet, a yard, additional study that can potentially double up as a storeroom or even a helper's room. And then they still have space for an additional storeroom over here. I think this is a very strong layout. Definitely I think this is the one to keep an eye on, because if you see over here at Tembusu Grand, their 9901, their kitchen, right, they don't have the third toilet and they don't have the yard area, and they don't really have storage. Yes, even though their living room, dining room area is much bigger as compared to Emerald of Katong one, but I think the functionality is not there. It's missing. Yeah. So I think if you are a family with a helper, you will still prefer the 1044 square feet one. And at Tembusu Grand, if you pay for this additional about 200 square feet, right, the price jump is almost 400,000 plus to 500k. So I think most owners, maybe if you are budget sensitive, you cannot tahan that 400k, 500k gap, right? Then you no choice, you have to go for this 990 square feet. But right now, Emerald of Katong is a very attractive product because they have something in between. So I think this is something that potentially you can explore if you are looking to buy for own stay or investment in Emerald of Katong. Yeah, so you can see over here, definitely the 11731 is like gonna be quite similar to this 1044 square feet unit. I mean the 990 square feet unit at Emerald of Katong, just that they have a much bigger household shelter lah. Yeah, I think definitely is an in-between product. Yeah, so of course there will be other layout gaps in between Tembusu Grand, Emerald of Katong. So if you need any advice based on layout itself, where to fill the market gap, you can feel free to let me know. You can give me a WhatsApp so I can give you a more in-depth analysis based on your budget, and if you have a particular facing that you're looking at and you want to fill in that particular gap for the layouts, similar for 2 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 1 bedroom, we can all use a similar analysis, but of course you have to WhatsApp me lah. Okay, so now we look at Haig Court, the 3-bedroom layouts. So I think in terms of functionality, right, we shouldn't lose out for Tembusu Grand or Emerald of Katong. If not, if you lose out, then we might not have the same profitability performance for Haig Court if you want to replicate lah. So you see Haig Court one quite standard. Living room, dining room is like one rectangle. Then they have kitchen here. They have a storeroom here, utility room, WC, yard area. So I think what they did for the new launch at Emerald of Katong and Tembusu Grand, right? Definitely the room sizes are slightly smaller, but at the same time the yard, they never give such a big space for the yard. So I think it will be more efficient in terms of space usage. Okay, this is the other 3-bedroom layout for Haig Court. So I think very, very similar. Only difference is the yard over here is like a odd shape lah. Other than that, they have a storeroom, utility room, WC, kitchen area. Gonna be quite standard. So I think in terms of the layout itself, whatever Emerald of Katong is gonna offer won't lose to Haig Court. So unless you go for the smaller unit sizes. Okay, so this one is for the price analysis for Haig Court. Basically, you can see, right, majority of the transactions actually came from stack 2 of block 152, which is this block. So why I'm assuming a lot of them are coming from stack 2, I think it's because they are all facing towards this another condo that is like jutting inside their own site itself. So it's a bit weird, but they are facing block views from this particular condo. Yeah, so that's why you see like a lot more people are willing to let go. But do take note that you see their selling period, right? This one is almost like 15 years, this one 14 years, 17 years, 17 years. So a lot of them, even though the facing is not so ideal, facing towards a condo, they are still willing to stay for very long periods of time because very likely it's the location itself. So I think even if you're buying Tembusu Grand or Emerald of Katong, right, even if your view is being blocked by other residential developments, you'll still be likely to make a profit if you hold a long enough period. And all these owners, they are very, very long holders. So means they really love the area itself. Yeah, of course, the layout must make sense for them as well. So that's why you see the supply in the market is not a lot. Okay, so now we look at this same stack one. We are looking at this 15th floor unit as well as this 5th floor unit. Then you can see basically this unit bought in April 2004, and then this one also bought in April 2004. So time period is very, very similar. Facing also is exactly the same, other than the height. Alright, so this one is at 944k, and then this one is 865k. So it's about a 80k difference over here. Fast forward to 2021 March when they sold, right? Looking at 2.4 million. Then over here, 2021 February, looking at 2.2 million. For this one, right, this 15th floor unit, profit is about 1.5 million. This 5th floor unit, profit is about 1.3, 1.4 million. So there is going to be quite a, I would say, slight difference when it comes to the profit in the long term. But overall, even if you bought a low floor unit here that has a not very good facing towards the other condo, you're still going to do well. I think mainly it's because of the locality. Okay, so now I want to dive into these two transactions between 0501 and 1002. So they are mainly at this stack 1 over here, and then we have stack 2 over here. So of course stack 2 is slightly worse view because it's nearer to the other development, whereas stack 1 is slightly further away. So you can see, right, basically these two transactions, they happened in 2010, August 2010. So whatever buyers that came in view, right, they actually have the option to choose between these two units. And actually you see, right, the 0501 one is sold 1 day before this 1010 unit, and this unit is slightly smaller, and it was able to command a higher premium over this 10th floor unit. So I think the main reason is really because the stack 1 it has a much further away distance from the other condo, so the view will be slightly better. Yeah, so even though it's a low floor unit, you're able to command almost the same pricing as a high floor unit at stack 2. And one more thing I want you to take note is, you see over here they made a profit about 1.4 million. Then here also similar profit about 1.4 million. But look at the timing when they exit. So this was sold in October 2023, whereas here it was May 2024. So when you can see here, right, actually this 1002 even though it's a higher floor unit, the facing is worse, right? It took almost 1 year later to even sell at a similar price as compared to a lower floor, better facing unit. So the main takeaway for this is that if today you are an investor or even a buyer, right, that you potentially want to maximize your gains, and you see the scenario maybe at Tembusu Grand or Emerald of Katong, you have a unit that is maybe similar size, two units that's similar size. One is lower floor, better view. The other one is higher floor, worse view, but they are priced about the same. Which one would you go for? Based on this case study like this, I would recommend just go for the better view one, even though with lower floor. I think this is something that most people can accept, yeah, based on the buyer behavior here. So yeah, of course, I can also do the analysis for the different bedrooms. Yeah, but due to time constraint, I will just keep it to the 3 bedrooms over here. Alright, so this one is the price analysis for Tembusu Grand. So over here, just to run you through the legend itself, the yellow color stacks, right, they are sold on the actual launch day for Tembusu Grand. So Tembusu Grand launch day sold about 50% of their units. The pink color one, it is sold on a later date. So means the pink color one, if you ask me it should be less desirable facing for buyers today. Then the green color one is what is still available in the market now. So we just go deeper in. You can see we look at the smaller stacks first. So these are stack 30, stack 6, stack 11, and stack 19. Yeah, so between these 4 stacks, right, you see the PSF difference is very similar. Actually, there's no difference in the PSF. Yeah. So if you ask me which stack I would go for, right? So between these 4 stacks, they are actually equal in price, layout exactly the same. If you are given the choice of these stacks, which one will you go for? So when we look at the site area itself, right, you see at the point of time when Tembusu was launched, they already know that upcoming Emerald of Katong is there. So very highly likely block the stack 30 over here, you have some block views already. Yeah, so these are the 4 stacks. So what I would recommend is actually just going for probably this stack because it's facing towards the shop houses. Stack 19, right, is unknown because it's still facing towards a residential site. We don't know what kind of it could be maybe a car park or another house over there. We don't know exactly what is it. So I think it'd be better if you just buy something safer lah. Then I think over here, this stack 6 and stack 30, right? Stack 30 will pose a higher risk at the point of the Tembusu launch that day because, of course, Emerald, Katong, all the site plan not out, so we won't know what is it exactly facing. But I think the nursing home news might have already been out. So stack 6 would have been a safer facing as compared to stack 30. So this is how I'll rank it. Stack 11 will be my first choice. Then stack 6 will be second choice. If I have to choose between 19 and 30, I'll go with 30. Even though I already know Emerald of Katong will be over here. Why is that so? Because at least at stack 30, right, Emerald of Katong will already be almost done when Tembusu Grand TOP. So you won't have to deal with the construction for another 4 years, maybe 1-2 years at most. But if you are buying stack 19 today, and the government, right, they want to release this GLS for sale, right, then if Tembusu Grand TOP, right, potentially your views might be unblocked for a short period of time, but the construction you have to tahan maybe is 4 years. So I think best try not to go for 19 because you might face a construction time of 4 years. And every day you go home, every day you look at drilling or also see one. So I think the temporary good view is not worth it. It will be still better to just go for something more predictable. Yeah, but I think this is up to individual. This is how I look at this if I compare between the 4 stacks for Tembusu Grand one. Okay, so now we look at the 1173 square feet one. So you can see those sold on actual launch day 1003. So this one at 2388 PSF. So this one will be facing towards Emerald of Katong. And then we have over here this 1223. It is at 2411 PSF. So we are looking at facing swimming pool, but you will have a portion that is facing towards the multi-story car park side. Because they already cleared the multi-story car park, definitely the view will be better. And actually for stack 3 and stack 23, right, both the lower floor units, some haven't sold. So I'm looking just on the 10th floor. Yeah, so I think 10th floor is some people that can still accept because already clear the multi-story car park over here, and probably here you already clear the nursing home Haig. So I think this is something that at least people want a better view and they are willing to pay a premium. Okay, then we look at the stack 26. Is facing inside. So this one I think the view is going to be quite decent because it's facing inside. The only thing is because it's right beside the tennis court. Yeah, but I think it's a bit hard to have everything. Then you have stack 14 over here, 2388 PSF at 2.8 mil. So this one you can see they are facing towards the unknown residential plot land. So that's why you can see it's being sold later on. Yeah. And why this 9901 is still sold even though the view is like uncertain, right? It's because of quantum. I think if they are looking at Emerald, Tembusu Grand, and maybe their budget is around 2.3, 2.5, and they cannot stretch to 2.8, right? Because it's almost another 400k gap. They no choice, they still have to go for stack 19, even though the view is uncertain. So I think this is something that you have to take note because it means that the buyers here, they are willing to forgo the extra third toilet, the storeroom, the study for a discount of 400,000. Yeah, so if you think about it, right, actually you're paying almost 400k for additional WC, study room, yard area. Yeah, so I think this one really depends on individual, but I know that with the younger people, they tend to not need all the additional stuff if they need to pay additional 400,000. Yeah, so I think that was the tipping point. And you can see actually at stack 22, which is even further in for the residential plot that's coming up, that we don't know when it will come up. It is still unsold, even though the PSF is quite attractive at 2389 PSF, because I think maybe people are still waiting for Emerald of Katong to see what kind of layouts and what kind of pricing they are coming at, and then make their decision from there. Yeah, so you can see the actual day itself, stack 6 also, stack 30 also, so stack 30, stack 6. So these are all you can see the 990 square feet one. So I think the quantum play is there. Alright, then we have stack 11, 90% sold over here, stack 19 over here, 90% sold, stack 23, 70% sold. So like I mentioned just now, why the 73 only 70% sold, right? Because the fifth floor onwards, fifth floor below, right? People all don't want to buy because it's towards the facing the multi-story car park. So I think that's not very ideal. So today, if you ask me, amongst the 1173 square feet units at Tembusu Grand, right, which one will I go for? Actually, this stack 3 does kind of make sense because it's facing towards the left side of Emerald of Katong, so it's towards the nursing home side. So I think as long as you clear the view, it should be kind of unblocked already. Alright, then this one will be my number 1 lah. I think this stack 23 one is still okay as long as you clear the multi-story car park. So this will be my second choice. Then third choice will be this stack 26, which is facing towards the swimming pool side lah. Yeah. Then last choice will be this more unknown stack, which is stack 14. Yeah, because you don't know what it will be. Oh, actually I forgot about stack 22 also. So actually stack 14 will be 4th choice, and then stack 22 will be 5th choice. So actually why I rank it this way also is because I'm studying from buyers' behavior. So it means that you see, usually for 1173 square feet 3 bedrooms, right? Usually people are buying for own stay. Actually at about 2.8 million. So you can already see that people, they are not willing to take that risk. So that's why you still have a stack 22 even on today. Okay, so this is the so-called unit selection for Emerald of Katong. Of course, I don't know what is the pricing, but just bear with me. I'm just doing this in terms of facing. Okay, so I've color coded in. 883 square feet will be this over here. It is this red color one. So there's only one particular facing, and it's facing towards the unknown block. So I would say if today you budget really no choice, then you only have this one for the 3 bedrooms. Okay, then now we look at the green color one, which is the 904 square feet over here. Okay, so I have shortlisted in terms of the order lah. Okay, so I will look at this stack as stack number 1, which is ranking lah. I'm ranking them. So this is rank number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So why I put in this order is because number 1, pool facing, based on the Haig court analysis, definitely I think a premium facing will be better. Of course, I don't know what is the pricing premium going to be. That is a whole different discussion. So this one, right, that's why you need to, for my clients, I will already do this analysis so that when you go in, right, you already know which one that you are aiming for or which one is more preferred. Then what is coming next, it will be the price premium you have to pay for the different facing and different floor already. So this one, only actual day I can advise you. You can contact me for, if you need advice on actual day itself, I can assist you definitely. So why I put this one is because number 1 is facing towards the pool, predictable view. Number 2, this one, right, try to get above 6th floor. This one will clear the Tembusu Grand's multi-story car park. So the moment you clear this, actually your view I think will be quite a good one. It will be quite unblocked. Then number 3, it will be facing towards Tembusu Grand, but the gap is kind of far away. We are looking at 66 meters. So if you are okay, so this is where the number might change. If you are only left with the low floor units for this number 2 versus number 3, right, I will actually ask you to go for the number 3 low floor units over the number 2 one, because they haven't cleared the multi-story car park. So instead of buying a building that is closer to you, why not you go to a facing that is much further away, even though you are a lower floor unit? I'm sure that one will perform better as compared to the multi-story car park facing one. And then last but not least, we have the number 4 one. So the number 4, right, that one really is also is a gamble lah. It's really up to you if you don't take the risk. But I think the developer will price number 4, stack number 4, the cheapest one, because it will be the most amount of uncertainty. Okay, so now we look at the purple color one, the 969 square feet. We're comparing based on facing lah. So the most the rank 1 facing and then the rank 2 facing. So I think why I choose it this way, because pool facing, rank 1, predictable facing. And then why this one number 2? Because actually I went to go and search Haig court, there is a en bloc possibility. So same problem as I mentioned when you are faced with the residential plot of 3.5 plot ratio. What happens is you don't want to go through 4 years of construction and your unit will be very hard to offload after that. So if you have a chance, if the price premium is not there, try to go for stack 1 lah. If really no choice, then stack 2 lor. And then this Haig court, you won't know if it will en bloc or not. This one is also a very big question mark. And of course, if it en blocks, right, I think it will help to push the prices up for this entire Tembusu area. So that one is another discussion altogether. Alright, so now we have the 2 different 990 square feet. I will go through the teal color first. So same thing, pool facing rank 1, facing a residential plot rank 2. I think, right, if really this second one, the PSF is very, very attractive, you can go for this rank 2 one, because I would say if you are already all the way at the corner, right, I don't think your view will change that much. It won't be affected as much as as let's say over these few stacks one. Yeah, so this is how I look at this entire possible development lah. Okay, so now we look at yellow 990 square feet. So over here I put rank 1 and then rank 2 lah. So I think these two facing is going to be quite similar. But why I put rank 1? Because you can partially have a clear view if you are above the multi-story car park. Then if not, I suggest you go for the other one lah, if it's lower floor. But at the same time, there is the en bloc possibility. So this one really must see how much the PSF difference. But if you really ask me, exactly same pricing, I think go for stack 1 lah. I mean rank 1, because if you clear the multi-story car park, right, the next building will be also 66 meters away. Yeah, so the view will be kind of unblocked. I mean not unblocked, but the view will be kind of far away from the other building. Alright, last but not least, we have the 1023 square feet one. So here I rank 1, rank 2, and rank 3. So I think rank 3 is quite obvious. Why? Because we have this unknown land, we don't know what's coming up. And then why I choose rank 1 and rank 2, right, is because this one is facing towards the, I think, swimming pool side. And then this one is facing towards the other blocks. I would say the difference between 1 and 2 is not going to be that much, but I think why I choose this one as rank 2 also is due to the tennis court over here. So I think your master bedroom, if you are a person that want to sleep in on the weekends, maybe not so good, because every day you will hear someone pop, 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 pop. But the good thing about this view is that because these are the black and white houses, so your view will be unblocked. So I think that's the advantage lah. You cannot win everything. Whereas for the view at the rank 1, it will be quite close to your neighbor lah, because only 13 meter. Whereas this one still got about 50 meters away. So I think really there's pros and cons. See which one, how high you go. That one also one factor. Okay, so assuming if EOK launch around $2,500 per square feet but this is for exercise. Of course, there will be a range, but I'm just using this to work out numbers. So if at $2,500 per square feet, right, the 883 square feet one will be looking at around 2.2 million. We see the price gap between the different unit sizes. So you see, if 883 to 904, we're looking at 52k. 904 to 969, 162k. 969 to 990, 52k. 990 to 1023, 82k. So if you ask me, right, usually this is how I will measure on estimate which unit to go for. If today your budget is not an issue, right, actually go for the upgrade with the smallest gap. So for example, if today you have the ability to go and buy this 904 square feet one, right, then go for the 904 one. I think it will make a lot more sense as compared to 883, because you top up another 50k. I mean, everyone must see what you're buying, what additional thing you get lah. Then same thing for the 969 to 9901. If the additional is 50k, you have to see what additional stuff that you're paying for, and if it's worth it for you lah. Yeah, but to me is, if the gap between the unit sizes is not that much, right, then go for the next one. But you see, the next gap for this one is going to be quite significant. So that one really depends on individual. I wouldn't, this is a bit hard to comment lah, but I would say try to go for the smaller gaps one if you can afford it lah. Alright, so right now we come to the last part for this analysis. We are looking at the price analysis. So we dive into Haig first. So over here, you see, right, the most recent 3 transactions at Haig. We are looking at 2.8 million, 3 million, and 2.8 million. So you see Haig is because they are much bigger unit. They are in the 1,003 to 1,004 square feet sizes. So that's why, even though it's much older and it's a freehold development, the PF and the big size, the quantum, we are looking at almost $3 million. So I think in terms of quantum, people are willing to pay for this area lah. Then we look at Tembusu Grand, right? Tembusu Grand, the 990, right, it transacted. The cheapest one is at 2.28 million at 2.3k PSF, all the way to 2.5 million at 2.5k PSF. So this is already transacted at Tembusu Grand. So you have this range for, right, because SK Corp, right, they don't have anything in the below 2.8 million range. So that's why the 990 square feet at Tembusu Grand, it was 100% sold out on day, because it was able to fill up that demand that people cannot afford the 2.8 million quantum and above one. Yeah, so you see that's why this one will be forming the price gap. So now Tembusu Grand no more already, right, for the below 2.6 million range. Then of course, if today you want to buy Emerald of Katong, you got no choice, you only have Emerald of Katong to fill in that gap. Okay, so for the 1173 square feet one, you see it's at 2.7 million, 2.3k PSF, to 2.9 million, 2.5k PSF. So this pricing, right, you can see it's going to be already very similar to what we see at Haig over here. So that's why I think the quantum support has been established for this area. And at the same time, Tembusu Grand has already provided a quantum and PSF for this entire Katong area. And we see over here, right, these are the 3 remaining units for 990 square feet at Tembusu Grand. Why the listed over here is slightly bigger, right, is because they count the void space above. So the one is the airspace lah. If you want to build loft on this, you see the quantum over here is already at the 2.6 million range. So that's why Emerald Katong, if they are able to fill in this particular gap that Tembusu Grand previously filled, right, it will sell out 100% on the day one. This is what I'm predicting lah. So over here, that's why I wrote a small remark. There will be a quantum gap that Tembusu Grand has already filled, but you can see that the demand definitely outweigh the supply over there. So nothing available below 2.6 mil in this area anymore. So anything below 2.6 mil, don't even have to be the 990 square feet. It can be just below 2.6 mil quantum. I think it will sell out fast for Emerald of Katong. This is what I'm predicting lah. over here at Tembusu Grand, we still have the 1173 square feet units, and we even have 2.7 mil and 2003 PSF onwards at Tembusu Grand. So the PSF wise is still quite attractive for the 1173 remaining units at Tembusu Grand, but that one would really, I think the buyers are still considering between Emerald of Katong and Tembusu Grand. Then of course maybe there will be some that don't want to stretch so much, so they want to see if they are able to get a good ballot number at Emerald of Katong and they can get something below 2.7 mil lor. Yeah, so this is how I envision this entire market for the demand at Katong area. Okay, so if launched at $2,500 per square feet, the price between the different unit sizes, yeah, so you see it's going to be quite attractive. Like if really they launch at this price, 2.2, 2.2 range, 2.4 range, 2.4, and you see 2.5. So this definitely I think will fill up the gap. But of course, if it's maybe 2.6, then you put different story lah. Yeah, so this one I can only do an assessment on the actual day itself. But I think with all my information I shared today, it'll be good enough to frame yourself, go inside the if you get a good ballot number at Emerald of Katong. Alright, so we have come to the end of my analysis for Emerald of Katong. So of course I think the main thing is we just need to wait for the pricing to be out on the actual day itself. If today you found my analysis and research useful, please feel free to like and subscribe and WhatsApp me. Alright, so if you want to go for a preview and you are not sure, what 3-beders or what kind of bedrooms to go for, where is the market gap, what works for my budget, and how to potentially exit for this Katong area, feel free to drop me a WhatsApp lah. Then we can arrange for a preview. Yeah, so do take note that the preview date is on the 25th of October and then the booking date will be on 9th of November. So hope you found my sharing today useful. Bye.